in Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams in the Appalachian Mountains, a field of trees. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where those dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The coyotes run all night. It's music to my ears and in my sights. I've got this hunting fever down in my bones. Glad my daddy taught me everything I know. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The TLC Outfitters is our name.
Hey folks, welcome to On Air and Outdoors with TLC Outfitters. Our cohort here is having some technical difficulties. We'll have Matt on here in just a moment. He's I don't know what's going on with him the last couple of weeks. Kentucky weather, man. I about you all, but this Kentucky weather is wearing me out. It's rain, shine, but we've been able to get out and enjoy a little bit of it, and we're going to show you that tonight. Once again, like I said, I'm trying to get our co-host in here. Bear with me just a moment, and we'll have him here before you know it. We've got a very special guest tonight we're pretty excited about. Let's see. Are you good to go now?
I'm good to go, buddy.
Buddy, what are you doing, son? This is the year 2024. You got to get up to date.
I know, man. I know.
Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it very much. But just talking about this Kentucky weather, man. How you like this Kentucky weather?
I don't like it. I drove through a bunch of rain today, buddy. I guess it's headed our way back towards home there. And rained pretty hard on me out here in Western Kentucky today.
Yeah, I seen that, and we've been getting it too here over in the east. So we got some folks already with us. Nelson Lee, man. Nelson Lee is going to be going elk hunting with us this year, man. We're excited to be teamed up with this guy right here from the Red Arrow Corporation. And a lot of this guy right here, son, is this guy is one of us. And we'll be talking about this a little bit later. He does a lot of great stuff in the outdoors, man. And we're just super excited to be teamed up with him and be hitting the elk woods this season. Our number one fan, my mama says hello. Oh, big bull slayer, James Royal, man. When you say James Royal, the first thing that comes to mind is the Royal Bull. I mean, it's just one of them things that'll probably go down in TLC history as one of the best hunts I've ever been on. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank y'all very much. Man, we got to get out this weekend. Had a pretty busy weekend.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Yeah. But with the pretty weather on Saturday and things, we were able to get some hay work done in the field. And of course, Friday night we had a pretty epic coyote hunt, and on into Saturday, had another decent. The weather turned off on us on Saturday night a little bit, but still had somewhat of a successful Saturday hunt. And man, I'll tell you, when you spend that much time in the hayfield during the weekend, and you spend that much time at night out coyote hunting, it's pretty hard on you come Sunday.
It is, man. I'm still recuperating. I'll tell you, man, this thermal game, I mean, multiple days is a young man's game. All right, this is what it is. Folks, if y'all tuning in, please like and share this feed. Get the word out there about all things on air and outdoors with TLC Outfitters. We got very special guests tonight. We have got our newly appointed commission member to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Commission, Chuck Mead, a good friend of mine. And we're going to be checking in with him. We appreciate him taking time from his busy schedule, man, and going to be with us. I don't know how long he'll get to stay, but we've got him right here with us tonight. We're very excited. We're going to be right here with him. Our Florida family, Wayne Hargabus, down there at the Hacienda Hargabus, says, hey, from Wayne and Lisa. What's going on with that, babe? No thumbs.
I'm giving him thumbs up, but for whatever reason, it ain't giving the little decoy thing.
Miss Woolwine says, hi, coyote slayers.
Hey, I tell her all the time I'm the best coyote killer on Holiday Lane, buddy.
I heard that. You know this guy right here?
She's lucky to be married to me.
Yeah. You know this guy right here?
I do know that guy.
Yeah. Tinsley Custom Wildlife, award-winning Tinsley Custom Wildlife. And Justin's going to be chasing those elk with us this year, too. So, OMG from Jill.
That's because I said she's lucky to be married to the best coyote killer on Holiday Lane.
I heard that. You ready for the Bicknell Bunch brag board?
I'm ready, buddy.
Yeah. This moment brought to you, folks, by the Bicknell Bunch and Bicknell Bunch Outdoors. If you've not done so, please go over and like and share their page there. A lot of good information from upland birds, waterfowl, dog training, and just some good inspiration, positive vibes from the Bicknell Bunch. We're glad to be teamed up with them. We got the Bicknell Bunch brag board right here coming at you. And like you said, we had some success Friday, man. As you can see there, we're with a little bit. Miss Whitley Barthel, as she was our good luck charm. We had the trifecta for Friday night.
Straight up rabbit's foot, buddy. I tell you what, we just about had to shoot some of these out of self-defense.
No doubt.
I mean, we took Whitley along. Whitley's asked a couple nights if she could tag along. And, one thing with the younger folks is you don't want them to get bored. And you want to make sure that you can keep them involved as much as possible. And so, the couple times that she's brought it up to us in the past, we've always had kind of nasty weather. And so Friday night, man, it was crisp and clear and just a beautiful night for thermal coyote hunting. And so, we were able to link up with her, and that's all it took, man. Just having her be there. She coaxed them coyotes in right in our laps, and you can see we had a lot of success, and I think she was just glad to be there and get to see what it was all about.
Yep. And she definitely proved to be our good luck charm for sure. And I'll tell you, man, some of them I mean, them dogs are close. And it's like I told you, it's like looking in the face of Satan, man. I mean, them things are coming. You lip squeak 2 in. We doubled on the last stand right there and lip squeak 2 of them in. I mean, just mouths open, tongues hanging out. I mean, it happened so fast, we didn't even get the video on. And they were on top of us, and we were able to double up. And I mean, don't ever think that these things are not just, horrific killers.
Cold-blooded killer, son.
That's right. That's right. But great hunt, one that I'll probably never forget. And having our little buddy Whitley Long right there, as you can see right there, man, that's it's like I said many times, that's a deadly combo right there. You take those Rix optics, a little bit holding out those Aurora A6s right there, A6Rs with that laser rangefinder. We didn't need it this night, but we were able to spot them out with this. Then you take those Leap 6s on top of those rifles right there. And then can't forget, man, that X24 MFK calls and TLC, baby. It's all it takes right there.
Hey, you don't really need those laser rangefinders when they're 20 yards.
That's right. That's right.
They're plenty big enough in the scope. I promise you that.
Yeah. How about our Trapline beard oil miss of the week? And that comes to you via me, myself, and I.
Yeah, this was this was pretty impressive. That we weren't able to get a fourth one.
Yeah. Trapline beard oil folks, go over and give them a like. This like and follow is not up to date. Go over our good buddy Brian. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for some great beard treatment, I mean, second to none. And we've got the stuff. We've got it right here. Use it every day. And it's pretty good stuff. Go over and check them out. The miss of the day comes from me. And let's set this hunt up a little bit.
So the way this ground lays is kind of down in a valley there where a creek runs, and so it runs uphill on both sides. And the way the wind was blowing, I expected those cows to come from in front of us down that low gap there and try to get the wind in their favor. And so we set the call over to the right, out in front of us to our right. And unfortunately, it was kind of behind a little thicket of trees there. We couldn't really see the call. That was a poor setup on our part. But we got this coyote, and I mean, severely made him upset, mad.
You can hear him in the video right there barking at the call.
So you hear those pup whines. That's the call. And then you hear that aggressive bark in the background. That's that coyote. And he's right over there close to that call. And I mean, was upset in a bad way. And, we just had to be patient, let him come out from behind the trees there. And when he did, I think we got a little excited and maybe rushed us a little bit. But you can see him right there, that white spot. Here he comes.
Barking. Stop it. I almost took the shot right there.
So, just for reference, can you back it up just a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't know how. So, just for reference, here's where he shot at.
Wait, no, this ain't where he shot at. Right here. And it kind of looks like I'm on him, and I am on him, but at the very last, at the pull of the trigger, And see, I can't slow it down that much, but it drops down. I shanked it.
Shot underneath of him.
Yeah.
But just for reference, as you let it play there, the cow in the far corner is 204 yards. So I'm going to say we missed that one inside of 125.
Yeah.
And then we missed it again at 200 and again at 210 and again at 230.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
They're a lot easier to hit when they're 20 yards.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Justin Tinsley said, going to try to get y'all a jackal this year for our Predator tournament. Man, that would be fantastic. That would be awesome for the Predator tournament. Gator Paul Scher says, down there in Florida, says, you need to hook me up with one of them rigs. I tell you what, man, they're the real deal. Real deal. So, hey, once again, that trap line or that miss moment brought to you by me, Matt, and Trapline Beardle. Sorry, Brian. I'll get you a better segment like next week, brother. The beard oil don't miss. It's spot on. But I'm telling you right now, man, it's awesome. So, yeah, man, let's get our guest on here. Wayne. Oh, Wayne says you shoot like Partain. Come on, man. I mean, a guy's trying to. A guy's got to have a miss every once in a while. Hey, at least I put my misses on here. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't just all be putting hits on there.
I mean, I shot that first one Friday night on the run at 200. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, here we go. About to eat our face off. I had to wipe the slobber off of me after you shot. Here we go. Let's get the man on here. Hey, Mr. Meade, you with us?
Hey, yes, Trinity. Matt, how are y'all?
Good, Chuck. How are you, buddy?
Hey, doing good, buddy. I'm over here at Hyman at Methodist Church. The Car Creek Fish and Game Club had their meeting here while their building is being worked on, and been looking forward to talking to you too.
Man, we've been looking forward to having you on the show. You know, Chuck, we go back many years, man, and we were in the NWTF chapter together, and you've done a lot of things, for us over the years, and always been a big advocate for fish and wildlife. And why don't you tell the folks a little bit about your new appointment?
Well, Trinity, back to the Wild Turkey Federation. My two boys really got started with you in that Fish and Wildlife or the Wild Turkey Federation, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And you done a wonderful job, great job, and we always look forward to it. And hopefully we can get that back in the district again, because it was an awesome time. Your mom and dad, they did a great job, and I think we even made Cody the president of the youth. And I reflect back on that every time I see you or we talk or anything. But I've just been out last several months. We've got 13 counties, and I'm trying to get to know all the game clubs and just let them know that I'm an advocate for this region and the needs.
Tell everybody what your district is, Chuck.
Everything from Harlan to Lawrence County, just about, Trinity.
That's the 7th.
The 7th district. There's 9 districts, so it's going to be a job getting to everybody, but I look forward to it. I really do want to help and always put kids first, and that's what I tell them. If we can put kids first, they'll never have a problem out of me in Frankfort. Big issue that I'll be working on is F1s in the Paintsville Lake, and I know I've got a lot of calls on the elk tags. A lot of organizations wanting the commissioner tag, and I've not yet had to review those yet, but they always go to quality organizations, and I look forward to it. And that was the first elk fest that I'd been to with you, Trinity, and that was just amazing down there. And hopefully some of those funds will come back here to help some of our organizations too, because they do great things. And I spoke to Commissioner Horn on my way here tonight, and just for some advice, and he said that they did a great job in helping this district last year. So,
Yep.
Hey,
Can't say,
just during your travels, if you would try to keep it in top of your mind to let some of these youth organizations know that those funds are available if they just reach out to Patrick Hayden and try to get that. I mean, it's a great thing that Elk Fest is doing by raising those funds and distributing those between the youth organizations. But a lot of places don't know that those funds are available, and they just need to realize that and reach out to Patrick, and I'm sure that he'd be willing to help.
I will, Matt, and I mentioned it to Car Creek tonight. They're having their annual kids fishing tournament in the middle of July. I think July 13th, and I suggested to them to reach out, and I'll send them the link tonight when I get home. And I'll send the link to you, Trandy. You probably already have it. So any of the organizations that we need to support, we try to get them all we can.
For those folks out there listening that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, just to kind of briefly explain, all the profits and proceeds raised from the Kentucky Elk Fest down in Bardstown are all donated back to youth organizations in the state. And I haven't heard the total number from this year, but from 2023, those were over $200,000 that was donated back to youth programs. So pretty incredible.
It is. It is. And it was amazing. I've been to 2 outdoor events that in the past few months that are just absolutely amazing. The elk fest, and then casting for kids. Friday I was with the special needs, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. I could not be happier with what I saw. And then Saturday, mind blowing. It was just amazing.
let me
About
tell you
1,000
something.
kids. You're motivating 1,000 kids to be conservationists. I mean, it's just amazing.
Chris Ferguson and Casting for Kids, that whole group, man, I can't say enough good things about my buddy Chris Ferguson. Just absolutely phenomenal job with that, man. Setting out and putting time and effort into the most precious resource we have. Chuck, Matt, me, a lot of people watching. We'll do everything we can for the outdoors as much as we can with what we got left. But really and truly, our parents are the ones who set in motion, or our mentors, whoever that may be, set in motion and planted those seeds for us to be the advocates. And that's what we've done. And now it's time for us to sow those seeds. And that's what these programs are doing. And Casting for Kids is providing a lot of opportunities for a lot of kids and youth that wouldn't have that, along with Patrick Hayden and Kentucky Gun Company, doing things. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife altogether, man, I hear so many things about people, they say things that they really don't know, or they it's a lot of assuming and that, whatever. I can assure you that every man and woman that has dedicated their career to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife and our natural resources, the number one thing on their mind is how can we get a youth out to protect and to teach and to help, enjoy these things that we do. And I just can't say enough good things. Chris Ferguson, Casting for Kids, um, Patrick Hayden and the Kentucky Gun Company, Kentucky Park Fish and Wildlife, the commission, and everybody, man, just kudos to everybody for the great stuff they do for the youth.
And let's not forget our support staff from Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. I've had the opportunity to get to know the newly promoted Sergeant Owens. What a phenomenal job he's doing. And Captain Sloan was here with me tonight, and they do an outstanding job. And I was really, really took back with what kind of job they've done. And Commissioner Storm has supported everything that I've asked. What Fish and Wildlife is the greatest organization within state government. It's funded only by me and you, and we need to keep it that way.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, the greatest law enforcement agency with conservation officers, game wardens in the nation, and I think it's the best. I think it's the best wildlife department in the nation too. Just great group of people, great law enforcement officers, biologists, everybody. Just everybody's great. Can't say enough good things. Yeah. So I want you to kind of lay a little groundwork for us, man. People, I think sometimes they think that there's a group of folks up there in Frankfurt calling all the shots for everything. Seasons, bag limits, creel limits, all kinds of things like that. Kind of tell us about what is the purpose of the commission.
The purpose of the commission, their number one purpose is to hire the commissioner. Okay, and the second thing is to navigate policies of Fish and Wildlife, whether it be dates for deer season or size limits on our lakes and those sorts of things. Trinity.
Yep, and the work that you all do, that's a group of people coming together, from different realms throughout the Commonwealth that are making decisions for the betterment of the resource and the people of the Commonwealth and all the visitors to the Commonwealth. And man, nobody knows how important the commission is to this state and to the fish and wildlife resources.
And a little history, Doug Hensley said we're going to bring elk to Eastern Kentucky. Okay, without him not saying that, we would have never had elk because you're going to get backlash in anything, just like F1s. Not everybody is for F1s, but we think it'll work, and our research on the private end says that they will. So we can't lose much by trying if it's going to benefit the economic development of Eastern Kentucky and the future of fishing in Eastern Kentucky. I say we try it. Just like Doug Hensley said, I say we try it. Let's do it. And you see how that went. Doug Hensley brought the deer from West Kentucky and turned them. If not for that, we wouldn't have deer. So it takes leaders to step up sometimes and say, hey, we need this. Okay. And it might be some push and shove back and forth and maybe some give and take. But I will have F1s on the agenda in September. I was pushing for June, but I kindly took a little setback and said, well, September's fine. You got to give a little and take a little.
That's right. So, that's right. If for those that don't know, the F1 is a largemouth bass strand that is basically a Florida strand. you have to look into it. There's so much biology behind it. You have to look into it. You just go up and look up F1 strand, largemouth bass. If you don't know about them, and you can read all kinds of stuff. This is bass strands at different lakes throughout the southeast, and is really if you're in the outdoors, you haven't heard of F1, you probably haven't been on social media or on the internet very much, but just look up F1 strand and you'll be able to look into it a little bit more. So, what about the meetings at Fish and Wildlife? Sometimes they have meetings for the public to be able to attend and different things, commission meetings. I mean, the public are invited to those unless you are in closed session, correct?
That is correct. Our next meeting is June 21st there at One Sportsman's Way in Frankfort. And we meet quarterly. So, 4 times a year.
Yep.
So, that being said, another thing that is overlooked sometimes in this process, we have Representative John Blanton in McGoffin County, a true outdoorsman, and he supports our organization through and through. And you have to have those leaders in those positions to be able to get your agenda through also, because he's a huge supporter of the F1s, and that makes a difference. And it's a team atmosphere. It's not all about the 7th district. It's all about Kentucky, and we still have to work together for common ground. And I look forward to doing that. I've got to be pretty good friends with the 2nd district commissioner, Jeff Raymer, and I've not met all of them yet, just the ones that were sworn in with me.
No. You got any questions, Matt?
No. Chuck, is the that F1, is it in Kentucky at all now? I mean, we're just trying to get it in Eastern Kentucky.
It is.
Kentucky, or what's the case? What is that? What's
there is. I'm not sure, Matt, which lake it is, but they filtered in. Tennessee, I believe, has been putting them in, and some states surrounding us. But there is F1 strains in Paintsville Lake already. So, from the past, we don't know how it got there, or I don't, and I am getting educated on F1s pretty rapidly.
Yeah. There may even be something on the website about FW website. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's a generational thing. You take the 2nd, 3rd generation, faster growth. There's a lot to it. I think maybe, I don't know if it's Chickamauga or some place like that has already got them in. Like the growth of these things. There's a lot of genetically that is better than the northern strand that we've got, and that's not taking nothing away from the northern strand. The northern strand has stood the test of time, but there's a lot of biology behind it. A lot of fishermen want this, and the biologists are looking, doing all the research, putting it all together and making a push. So there's a lot to it that you have to go read that's out of my wheelhouse.
Amen, Trendy.
Yeah. No, yes, sir.
So, Chuck, for us non-fishermen, I've only fished maybe 4 times in my life since my daddy quit taking me when I was a little boy. But I fell in love with the hunting part of the outdoors and not so much the fishing part. But from is this important from an economic standpoint? Is this going to impact Eastern Kentucky, bring tournaments here? What's kind of the outlook on if the F1 is in Eastern Kentucky?
Well, if Jason Kenner has that all broke down on his Facebook page, and yes, it will. It'll bring tourism dollars into Eastern Kentucky, and like they say, if there's fish, they'll come, and they have to have somewhere to stay. They have to have somewhere to eat, and those things just trickle all the way back to all of us. And we've got beautiful lakes here in the mountains, and I don't have a problem with using Paintsville Lake as a study. And let's do a 3-year, 5-year study, see how they do, and if so, let's move them. Let's do it in other parts of the state, other lakes in a region.
Yep.
Yeah,
Man.
I'll tell you what. You was talking about Paintsville Lake there, but I never had been to Paintsville Lake. I've spent a lot. I didn't grow up in Eastern Kentucky. Grew up in what I would consider Central Kentucky, around Winchester, Lexington, Richmond area is kind of where I grew up. But of course, me and Trinity met at Morehead State in college, and so that was my Eastern Kentucky kind of introduction, was my college years. And as much time from the time I was 18 years old to now, as much time as I've spent in Eastern Kentucky, I've only been to Paintsville Lake one time, and that was with you, Trendy. And when we pulled in there, it was shocking how beautiful it is down there. It really, I mean, it is something fantastic to see.
It is. It's a beautiful lake, and they're doing great things, and we just need to keep the progress going and not hinder it.
That's right. I tell you what, I see right now we're going to get Jason on here for an F1 show. I'm glad you brought that up, and that's on my that's on my to-do list.
Do that, and I won't try. I'll try not to. I'll have FaceTime.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we got a couple things, and I agree with Paul right here, but I'm going to put a twist on it. Matt's going to agree with me, and I'm going, you know what? Ask your commission member if you have a need or if you have a thought, good, bad, or ugly. We need a longer trapping season for holidays. Commissioner, me, we need a longer thermal season.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell Paul there to call Cody and lobby Cody real hard for that, because he's like his grandpa.
Yeah. Chuck, before we came on, or before we started the show, I was telling Trendy, I said, do you realize that we've got to go July, August, September, October, and November before we can thermal night hunt again?
Hey, Trinity, I will get with the chairman and see about having an open discussion and have you come down and explain why we need to do that.
I'll be there.
All right.
And we understand.
Hey, that's a good start, isn't it?
Yes, that's a great start.
All right.
And we understand the deer seasons and all the things like that. Boy, if we could just get July and August, I think we could weather the storm a little bit September, October, November. But I tell you, Chuck, I mean, we pay thousands of dollars for this thermal equipment, man.
Oh, I understand.
And it is helping the coyote epidemic. And yeah, that'd be great, Chuck. Hey, sink or swim, brother. We're in.
Sink or swim. Thank you.
Yeah, we're in. See you. We got another one right here. It says Kentucky should put a bounty on a turkey nest raiders, coyote, foxes, bobcats. Do not kill them. That nest raiders do. That you're exactly right. All right, I'm sorry, Nelson. Kentucky should put a bounty on turkey nest raiders. Coyotes, foxes, bobcats do not kill the numbers of turkeys that nest raiders do. Curious how the state feels about our turkey numbers. And I'll tell you, Nelson, it depends on who you talk to and which part of the state. He got out of here. I got another one from Justin too. I'll get you an answer, Justin. I'll pop that up here, man. In my eyes and what I seen, we had an epic turkey season here in the East. Now, I talked to some folks in the East that didn't feel that way. They're like, man, I don't see or hear turkeys. And, a lot of it's got to do with habitat management. the wool wine, the bar wine farms down there, you know. And then our buddy Ben Moore has put in a lot of work up here too in the Eastern. So I take those two farms that have been groomed. Matt's has been groomed for multiple years, and Ben's has been groomed now for a couple years. And the turkey numbers have really just ticked up and ticked up and ticked up and ticked up. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on the nest predators. We've seen a decline in the raccoon hunters and all these things like that. That the nest raiders is where the problem is. And I don't know that we'll ever see a bounty, but if we don't do something with the nest, two things in my mind for turkey: habitat management. Habitat management's huge, and nest raiders. What do you think, Matt?
Well, a lot of Eastern Kentucky, it's unfortunate that the best turkey habitat in Eastern Kentucky is typically the hardwoods, because all the open field there is autumn olive and Cerisa lespedeza, and that's just not great turkey habitat. It's thick, it's harder for them to move through. Yeah, they can hide if they're in there, but it's just harder for them to get away out of that Cerisa if something does get after them. So, now back that up, and Fish and Wildlife is starting a burn, a burn plan. They burnt 3,500 acres a couple years ago. I'm not sure where they stand this year or if they've even started burning, but that is part of the initiative. Is they are going back to control burns to try to clear some of these invasive species and bring some of that wildlife habitat back, whether it be, and it's going to be beneficial to the turkeys, to the deer, to the elk, to the quail, to, you just go right on down the line. We really need to get rid of a lot of that Cerisa, and we really need to get rid of a lot of those autumn olives.
That's right. That's right. Out in central and western Kentucky, there's things being linked to different, systemic pesticides, all kinds of stuff. I think at the end of the day, you're spot on, Nelson. I think at the end of the day, until we have an overwhelming amount of nest predators, and we're going to have to get on board.
When you start looking at it, you start looking at the equipment that it takes for habitat management. You start looking at the chemical that it takes for habitat management, and you start looking at the acreage that really needs to be affected in order to completely change what's going on in your area. That makes a few traps and a few 223 bullets pretty cheap. And so, trapping and hunting those nest predators, and you're kind of separating nest predators from coyotes and bobcats and foxes. But for me, I kind of lump them all together. If they all run across a nest, they're all going to try to run that hen off or kill her, and they're all going to eat those eggs. So, and that goes right down to crows. Guess what, folks? We got a crow season. Crows are just aerial nest predators. That's all they are. You got coyotes and crows. If they're not doing something malicious, they're thinking about doing something malicious. So, get out there, get after them predators. Buy you a few traps, whether it be footholds or just dog proofs. And I tell you what, if you don't have a whole lot of acreage that you're working on, you can really make an impact pretty quick with just a few dollars spent.
Yeah,
and a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. Justin Tinsley says, and he's gone, but I'll make sure he says, Chuck said, not to put you on spot, what's your thoughts on more tag reduction to help bring some of the elk numbers back up? For economics, we need to really concentrate on that. I tell you, man, I've put a lot of thought into this. I've thought about what is our issue with our elk herd. we've seen a tag reduction over the last 4 or 5 years when we came down to the 594, and now we're down to 500. At 594 tags a year, I think last year we had 38% success rate. If I do my math on that, I mean, I don't know. I should have looked this up. I didn't know. But you're looking at 225, 226 elk. Okay. I mean, if we lowered it down to 250 tags and we still kill 100 and some elk, I don't know how big of a difference that's going to make. You know, I don't know. And I'm, we've all advocated for less tags, and I'm still on board with that, because you got a lot of stuff in there. You got pressure, you got elk running around, you got elk mortality that's happening that we don't see or we don't hear about, whatever. I'll just be honest with you, man. I think you could lower them down to 200 tags. I don't think it's going to cut it. I don't think it's going to cut it. I think there's more at play than just harvest. And if you cut the harvest out, or if you cut the harvest down, which, I mean, we're at 225 elk being harvested. That tells me that there's something more to it. There's multiple facets of this whole thing that has to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt?
Same thing. There again, it's one piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
The tags are one piece of the puzzle. The pressure, with, you got 500, 600 people out there in the woods, not just the hunters, but then you've got, companions with them. You've got guides with them. You've got all the pressure that comes from the scouting preseason, the scouting throughout the season. And so, that there again, the pressure is another piece of the puzzle. The habitat's another piece of the puzzle. The sustainable food source is another piece of the puzzle. It just goes on and on. The black bear predator is another piece of the puzzle. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that piles on and is kind of depleting our elk herd right now. And so there again, I think some of those things are being addressed. And, I've said it before. I've heard this from the company I work for, but they say you can't turn the Titanic around in a canal. So, or at least it takes a long time. So, we're as a state, as a commission, as a fish and wildlife organization, I think it's all being worked on, and all those things are being discussed to try to come up with a plan. But it's not a quick turnaround. But you got JR rolling here saying shut it down for 5 years. In my opinion, at least the cow tags, at least.
And I agree with that. I think, and we, as Kentucky Elk Guide Association, we made a big suggestion for that. But it's not enough. It is not enough. We can cut all the tags out. It's not enough. I think the habitat management is the biggest part of this puzzle. JR right there, one of the best men you'll ever meet in your life, one of the best elk guides in the nation right there, has been since the beginning of this thing. And we all go back in our minds to the heyday of the elk program. And we remember what it was like. And the one thing we remember is looking across the landscape and seeing a lush, fertile, whatever you got at that time, active mining going on. You got fresh reclaim growing up. And the number one thing in my mind, there's no autumn olives. There are very few autumn olives. The autumn olive thickets have not taken over. And now that whole thing has changed, the whole landscape.
For me, that is the number one piece of switching this whole thing back around quickly. And it unfortunately is something we don't have a lot of control over. We've got a voice, but we don't have a lot of control over. But the number one piece of the puzzle for switching this whole elk herd back around to where it was in the heyday is coal mines being opened back up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big part of it. And I think that we sometimes don't focus on that.
Millions of acres being affected by individual coal companies through the, by improving the habitat with all the reseed and all that. So, you put a D9 dozer in an automata field and you start turning ground with it. It don't take a long time to get rid of some automatas. But when you're trying to hack them with a hatchet and squirt them with a spray bottle, and you're trying to walk through areas that is almost impossible to walk through, it's so thick, that takes a while.
And kudos to the men and women doing that today, trying to fight that good fight with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it.
The opening coal back up would be the number one piece of the puzzle, and unfortunately the one that we probably have the least control over.
That's right. That's right. We need to see more of the draw money go towards some of these issues. Elk money needs to care for the elk. Appreciate y'all. Corey Black cut out our very own Corey Black says cut out cow rifle for a couple years, 400 to 1,000. We had 1,000 tags and filled the most of those. Gator Paul says, I got 3 coyotes and 12 coons on 6 AC this year. You don't need a lot of land to make on 6 acres. That's right. That's right, Gator Paul. Talking about this whole land management deal. If everybody would do a little, you get a lot accomplished. Yep. But it takes everybody from a half acre to a 500,000 acres. If everybody would do a little, we could get a lot done. That's right. Man, what a good show, dude.
I've been focusing on coyotes, as everybody knows, but this year coming up, coons are going to have a hard way to go.
That's right. That's right. You done that a few years ago.
I'm not giving up on the coyotes, but coons are starting to come back in full force these days, and which I told you I mentioned it in the past. James, my son, he caught 30 coons one year there on our farm, and at like 15, 16 years old, had no idea what he was doing, but he went out there and run that trap line every day. So you think 30 coons off of a 50-acre farm, that's a pretty good step, I would say. And over the last few years, they've come back in full force. So it's time to hit them hard again. So I'll be doing coons and coyotes this year.
Yep. Paul says, where did the tree start from in the first place? Well, to be honest with you, this is one of those agricultural saviors that was brought in by, reclamation, reclamation stuff in the early going, and was brought here. And I mean, there's no doubt about it. It holds soil real good, real good. And you're talking about, I mean, my dad was mining back in the 80s, stripping, worked for Bramman Baker Coal Company. And, you seen them back then. And, when I got up big enough to start doing a little land management, we had, on our farm, I mean, he was one of the ones that helped strip that farm. And there's automatas that was growing there 30 years old, So that's where that stuff came from. Of course, it's a different way and different day now. Gator Paul says, leave the skunks alone. Matt Woolwine, leave the skunks alone.
No skunks have been harmed. No skunks have been harmed.
I thought we were going to be harmed a couple of times by skunks, but not. In our area, farmers play a big part in providing for the wildlife. And now a lot less farmers, so that means the hunters need to step up more. That's exactly right, Justin. It's a huge there is none of us, all of us combined, is not going to be able to tackle what these like Matt said, like these mines done. But if everybody will do, if everybody will do a little, it's baby steps in the right. And the facts are, the 100% fact is, if you do nothing, it's inevitable what's going to happen. Look at our grouse population. Everybody's looking for a scapegoat. Everybody's looking for a scapegoat. No more grouse. No more grouse. Oh, when the turkey came and this and that, it's all about the habitat, man. At the end of the day, all of this, you can do all the predator, you can do all the tag drop, you can do all the stuff you want to. If you don't start with the habitat and trickle down from there, not going to happen.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little bit with Justin, because he knows I love him. But the fact is that the farmer is helping the food source and maybe some habitat cover and things like that in some sense for big game species such as deer and turkey, maybe some rabbits, different things. But really, when you start thinking of wildlife as a whole, when you start going out there and spraying a bunch of chemicals, and you start genetically modifying all your food sources, and you start pulling rip shanks through your fields for acres and acres, there's a lot of stuff there that you're destroying from a wildlife standpoint too. So, all this kind of comes together in the fact that what we can blame is the progression of human life. We're building subdivisions on every we're building these subdivisions in every place, which is wiping out habitat, which is pushing critters into areas that they don't want to be, and we're growing food that has so many chemicals on it, it's killing critters left and right. And look, it's just the way that life is. And I don't know that there's a real answer, because as much as we as outdoorsmen think that we would want to go back and live in the 1800s again and turn our whole world around, yeah, think about that again. Because when I opened my Facebook page and I got 82 people on there complaining that their electric's been out for 6 minutes today. Yeah. So, on one hand, you want to live in the 1800s, and on the other hand, you're mad because you can't charge your cell phone for 5 minutes a day because the electric went out.
That's exactly right. And, man, if you want to look at how much we affect an area with our instant gratification, talking about farming in Western Kentucky, look at the epidemic of silver carp in all the waterways down there. And why are those silver carp there? Well, those silver carp are directly affected by the fertilizers that we're using. I mean, we can sit here and go around and around this big ball all day, but we all know one thing's true. We a bunch of sportsmen and sportswomen. We're all outdoors people. We need to do all that we can, and we need to understand that sometimes the picture is bigger than what this little puny coconut-sized brain we got in our heads. I know it is for me.
Start looking at it from the 10,000-foot view, not the 10-foot view.
That's right. Man, I love all this. Thank y'all for all this discussion. I mean, we got some great people on here tonight. And I'll, man, what I see when I go through these comments, the common denominator of everybody's love and passion for the outdoors. That's what I love most about the outdoors and about what we do. This common, I mean, there's people on here that I've not got to meet yet. And some of these people on here that, we've known our entire life, and we could sit here and all have a discussion about these things that we love and about these things that we want to see go on into the next generation. You bring everybody together. That's what the outdoors is all about. Ben Moore says, I think we are living in the best time to be a hunter or fisherman in the state of Kentucky. I'll agree with that, Ben. The resources have never in modern times been as good as they are today. You know, you want to talk about a footprint. You want to talk about how about your footprint. And I don't mean the one on the from the bottom of your shoe, but you want to talk about our footprint throughout history. You know, we've seen elk leave right around the middle 1800s, and the majority of our big game. And then you bring along, you know, the Great Depression, where you got a story coming out of Danville about a young lad going across the bridge. They see one deer, and that whole town got together with a posse of people and went out and harvested that one deer. Fishing, you know, game laws and bag limits and all that didn't matter. It was about survival. And then, you know, in some of our times, we see some of the greatest conservation stories ever in the United States come about. You know, from the white-tailed deer, the wild turkey, the bald eagle, the elk. You know, it is a fantastic time. It is the best time to be a hunter fisherman. But all that hangs in the balance, and we're at a tipping point. I think we're at a tipping point. And I think what we do and what we educate from here on sets the pace for the next generation, for the next Trinity's, Matts, Ben Moores, J.R. Rowlands, Justin Tinsley's, Nelson's, all these folks, Corey Blacks, all these people, you know, that love the outdoor that we know and that we've not even got to meet yet. We're at that tipping point. And what we do is going to affect that, whether they're going to say it and say, you know, that generation before us destroyed what was the best time to be a hunter and fisherman, or you know what they done has helped us be even better where we're at now. Sir, Miss Sarah says, Matt, it is all right to trap skunks. We understand, but don't think about nature that way. Nature's a different thing. She's one of the family.
Nature's got nothing to worry about.
That's right. Ben says absolutely on that. So, man, what else can we accomplish tonight? What we got coming up? Tell them. Tell them what we got coming up over the next few weeks.
What we got coming up?
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem is they got about 8 inches of rain last week.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're gonna try it, but obviously we got some more night hunting coming up over the next few weeks, and then catfish noodling season. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, man. Came in June the 1st. Daggone it, I meant to put the guys' pictures on here tonight. We had some of our buddies here. I'll put it on next week. Went out noodling right here in Dewey Lake and got some stud flatheads, dude. And we're excited about going down there to I mean, would you consider that Western Kentucky? It's Western Kentucky.
I consider it. It's probably just west of Central Kentucky, actually, on the map. But
yeah, yep. So good deal.
Anyway, if we get to do it, you all will see highlight reels of what's going on. So you can guarantee that.
Paul Priest says, without game laws and season and the game wardens to try to keep the rules in place. That's right. You got to have people to keep the rules. I will say this: money and politics will kill a lot of good things in this world, and that's looking down from 50,000 feet.
That's right. And it's cold up there at 50,000 foot too, Justin.
Yeah.
Which y'all be up there. You'll be up there here next week, I think. So.
Yeah. Whew. Hey, we're gonna get another show from Africa.
Good luck.
No, he already said it. He already promised it. He already promised it. Christy's going now, so we'll have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Folks, oh, and can't forget our good friends over at Global Decoys, Global Outdoor Hunting Decoys. Hey, listen, man, he just popped these up there. Go over and get you a dozen of these babies right here. Hey, we'll be having these out as we go back out in the dove field. Problem is, I don't know. We've traded our shotguns for spatulas.
Yeah.
as we'll be going back out to the dove field, maybe someplace near you to feed the hunters, talk to all the hunters this year. One of the best dove days we had last year. We didn't even shoot a shot. So, but go over to Goble Outdoor Hunting Decoys, get you some decoys right there. They are awesome. I got all kinds of them right here, and check it out, man. They make a great product. Give them a like and a follow. Pretty awesome stuff. 20,000 feet and not enough gas. Don't forget your carry-on, Matt said. That's right. Folks, that's all we got this week for On Air and Outdoors. We appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Remember, if you don't know the creator, look at the creation, man. And I'll tell you what, it's a great time to be out there and enjoy what God has gave us. We hope that maybe y'all get out and enjoy some of this. Paul says, you think noodles great until you have a hold of a snapping turtle. That's what I'm hoping Matt gets a hold of. I'm hoping Matt reach back in there, and he better understand he better get the tail the first time, because they ain't going up back the second time because the old turtle's turned around. That's right. Folks, stay tuned. We got a lot going on. We appreciate y'all so much. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you back here next week On Air and Outdoors with TLC Outfitters.
Eastern Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams in the Appalachian Mountains, fields and streams. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks they're on the run. Where those dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name.